Wait, were you expecting the chair spin guy? No, no, no. This is 2026. New year, new me. And I think we have to change a few things around here. Let's start with the stupid camera angle. This is not good enough for someone as good as me. It has to be way higher. Come on. Something like this, maybe. Let's have a look. Yes, this is a camera angle deserving of someone as great as me. Who am I, you ask? I am M.A.M.Z, the greatest six-stringer around. And since it's 2026, I decided to flex on y'all for a bit and show off all my guitars to you. I have got a lot of guitars. I'm very rich, you know. I made a big list of all the guitars that I have ever owned. Look at this. It's so much beautiful guitars, and I'm gonna show each of them to you today. You know, every guitar has a story. Every guitar, it shares a lot of emotions, a lot of stories that you guys are gonna be so lucky to hear today. I will tell you all of these stories, and you guys will want to stay till the end, because right at the end, I'm gonna show you the most expensive guitar that I have ever got. But you know, what do you guys really need? You guys really need to practice. And to practice, you guys need some backing tracks. And you can find those on my Patreon. There's so many backing tracks. So you guys can sit at home with your guitars, practice for hours, so you can strive to someday be as good as me. And those of you who use samples, there's sample packs for you too. There's a sitar sample pack and another sample pack which has Indian phrases being played on different synths. You guys need that in your music. So head on over to my Patreon where you can find all of these things. And I know you guys want to see more of my videos in your algorithm. So you know what you should do for that? You should like this video. You should subscribe to this channel right now. Turn on notification bells so that whenever an M.A.M.Z video drops, you will be the first to know. This is 2026, the year of M.A.M.Z, and let's get this channel up to 10,000 subscribers. So let's head on over to my very first guitar, and it's this one. Haha, gotcha! You don't get to see it so soon. You guys will have to wait a bit more before you actually see a guitar. But let me tell you about it. It was a Hovner acoustic. And let me take you back through a time machine to the year 2003. A small boy in Darjeeling had his heart burning with passion and desire for music. And you know what he needed? He needed a six-stringed guitar. So he asked his parents about it, and over they went to buy a guitar. Well, in case if you haven't figured out yet, the little powerful boy that I'm talking about is none other than yours truly, M.A.M.Z. So it was the monsoons. Like, I remember it very clearly. It was raining very heavily, and me, my father, and my older cousin, who already played the guitar, by the way, you know, it runs in the family, but we all went and I got a guitar. It looked beautiful. It was from a shop called Chandra Mahal in Darjeeling, of course, and I still remember it cost 1200 rupees. You know, Doc is gonna put USD values adjusted for inflation. Do that for me, Doc. Put the USD value of what is 1200 rupees in 2003. What is it valued at right now? Please do that for me, Doc. You're the man. But anyways, so 1200 rupees, I got my very first guitar and I grinded on it for several years. The very first chord I learned was a bar chord. I'm great like that. And then I learned my very first solo by ear. We didn't have Ultimate Guitar back then. We didn't have tabs. I learned it all with my sweat and passion and tears, and I grinded it for several years. A few years later, when I had already gotten another acoustic, somebody once borrowed that guitar from me. And then, apparently, someone else borrowed it from them, and I never got to see that guitar ever again. Maybe Doc will put some pictures of it over here. Now, after grinding on the acoustic for a few years, your boy was getting into some heavy rock and some heavy blues. The acoustic was not gonna cut it anymore. I needed an electric. So it was somewhere around 2007 or 8. Me and my parents, we went to Siliguri. It is a small city about a few hours away from Darjeeling, and I don't even remember which shop it was, but we got it from some shop. I know you guys are craving to see it. I pity y'all. You know what? Let me just show it to you. So this is the guitar. I think my parents paid somewhere around 12,000 for this guitar. I know you guys are not up to date on your mathematics, but that is 10 times the price of my first guitar. This is my number one guitar. It is a PVRaptor.exp. It's a beautiful Strat. It's got 3 pickups, 1 volume, 1 master tone, and a 5-way switch. On position 2 and 4, it's got the phase inverted. And I've been playing this piece of beauty for almost 2 decades now. Most of the live gigs I've ever done, most of the recordings I've done, this is the guitar that I have used. In fact, if you've heard any of my songs on Bandcamp, Apple Music, or any of these streaming websites, and you've heard an electric guitar, then this is probably the guitar that you're hearing. Now, right from the beginning, I was a big whammy boy. And believe it or not, in the very first year, I broke the whammy. But don't you worry, I got another one. And over the years, I've had to do several tiny little repairs for it, lots of electronic fixes, and at one point, the pickups completely stopped working. But don't worry, I got it changed and it works as new again. Of course, it's 20 years old and it's had its share of wear and tear. But you know what they say? The beauty lies in the imperfections. After getting the electric, and I was playing on it, and I could see how big of a quality difference there was between the electric and my old acoustic. Now, I was playing the electric a lot more, but I still crave the acoustic once in a while. And I realized I need a new acoustic. So I asked my parents again, and down we went to Siliguri to get a new acoustic. So this is Fever YZGT9008, and it's a dreadnought. I think we got it for 6,000 rupees back then in 2007 or 8. At its prime, it had one of the loveliest acoustic guitar sounds that I ever had, and it is definitely one of my most beloved guitars. I wrote most of my best songs on it, even songs that are gonna be on this upcoming album. Songs like Poverty, Spider, which are gonna be on my upcoming album coming out this year. So keep your ears perked for that one. Remember, my hometown, Darjeeling, is up in the hills, so it's a cold place. But then when I went to college, I went down to the plains to Shantiniketan, and that's a really hot place. This guitar went from extreme cold right to extreme heat, and it kind of took the brunt of it. And also, I like to use 12 gauge strings on it, so the neck bent quite a bit. There's quite a bit of action over here. It has had lots of stories too. There was one story where it actually fell from the roof of a moving vehicle, and it got quite a few cracks here and there. But the good thing is, I can still use it, though I use it in a much lower tuning because, as I said, the neck is way bent and the action is pretty high. So I use it almost like a baritone guitar. In fact, on the album, you will hear one song that is actually recorded on this with a baritone tuning. Now, jumping back in time to when I was in Darjeeling, one of my friend had a classical guitar and he wasn't using it much, so he had lent me the guitar for quite some time, and I used to love that sound. It had a very different from my steel string acoustic guitars, much smoother, much more warmer sound. But of course, when I moved out, I gave it back to him. And lo and behold, in Shantiniketan, I had another friend who also had a classical guitar and wasn't using it much. So he lent it to me again. This is a Suzuki classical guitar. Doesn't have any model number, not that I'm aware of. But after I had it for a couple years or so, like, he told me I could just buy it off of him. And he didn't charge me much. I believe it was 3,000 I paid for him. But I'm sure he must have gotten it for a lot more, and I got it from him somewhere around 2012 or 13 or something like that. Of course, I don't play classical that often, but I play it once in a while and it sounds beautiful. went to Shantiniketan in 2010 and I stayed there for 6 years. During that whole period, I bought a lot of instruments like the sitar, the dotara, the khamak. I even had a Hawaiian guitar at one point and lots of other stuff. But during that whole time, the only guitar I bought was the Suzuki Classical. So in 2017, when I moved to Bangalore and I was starting to earn my money, I decided it was time to get a new acoustic. And this time it was gonna be a Fender. So I got what at that time was the most affordable Fender guitar, the Squier SA105CE. Another dreadnought with semi-acoustic features, and I believe I paid something around 11,000 and I bought it straight off of Amazon. I did write a few songs on this guitar as well, and I think Margaret's Hope was written on that guitar. You will hear that on the album too. But of course, right from when I got it, I kinda knew in the back of my mind that it did not sound as good as my previous Fever acoustic. Of course, it was new and it was in the best condition, unlike my Fever, which was not in the best condition, and I couldn't play the Fever in standard tuning anymore. But the Fender was playable and it got me through quite a lot of gigs, quite a lot of recordings, and a lot of stuff. Even on there, I used 12 gauge strings and it had the same exact issue. But now that I was in a much bigger city, I was able to get it fixed. After I got another acoustic later down the line, I wanted to have an acoustic back in Darjeeling because I was tired carrying it back and forth every time I travel. So I decided to take this Fender guitar back to Darjeeling and leave it up there. Now, from 2017 right up to 2022 was when I collected all my essentials. By then, I had an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar, a classical guitar, even the old barely functioning acoustic guitar, a MIDI keyboard, a bass. And by then, I had also moved into this place and there was a lot more space here. So it was now time to splurge. And 2023 is the year when the story of the riches begin. That was a special year for me because I bought not one, not two, but 3 guitars. Up until then, I had always been a classic Strat guy. 3 single coils, whammy, neck pickup always. And all my heroes played the Strat. People like Eric Clapton, Mark Knopfler, Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page. But wait, Jimmy Page. I needed a Les Paul. This showed up on Facebook Marketplace and sometime in early 2023 and I got it for around 13,000 rupees. This is an Epiphone LP100 classic Les Paul. I believe nothing is modded on it, neither by me nor the previous owners. 2 humbucker pickups, neck and bridge, 3-way position switch and 2 tone and 2 volume knobs. Since I'm rich now, I use it more as an alternative. Sometimes I use it for alternate tunings. Sometimes I just play this if I don't want to play my first guitar. But I needed more guitars, and I was looking into what other unique guitars could I get. And I saw on YouTube some guy took a guitar and converted it to a fretless guitar. I had a friend who did woodworking, and I sent him that video and asked him if he could do it. And he said, yeah, he could. So I looked around for a cheap electric guitar and got an Aria STG S series guitar. Again, a Strat, 3 single coils, whammy, the classic Strat, you know that. But then I sent it to him and he made it fretless. I believe he only charged me about 2,000. So all in all, this guitar cost me 8,000 rupees. And now I can do this. You can't do that. Now all this while, I had always been on a lookout for a better acoustic. Of course, my first one was way too damaged and the Fender had kind of disappointed me. I soon understood that I could not get it online. I had to go to the stores and get it. I looked around quite a lot, went around most of the stores here in Bangalore, and I soon realized that I'm gonna have to spend a lot more. And when I raised my budget is when I actually started finding guitars that sounded so much better. So this is the guitar that I finally got, and at that time, this was the most expensive guitar I had ever gotten. It cost me 27,000. It's a Granada GS355D CEQ. Of course, as usual, it's a dreadnought with a cutaway, but it's also got semi-acoustic features, which I rarely use. It's a Fishman pickup, but I've grown to not like the sound of piezo pickups too much, so I always mic it up. And as soon as I got this is when I started recording my new album, and most of the songs you will hear on this album is recorded on this guitar. It has a much bigger sound and is almost very close to my Fever guitar. This guitar already came preloaded with 12 gauge strings, and guess what? Again, we had the same problem, but anyways, we got it fixed and it still plays beautiful. I would say this is my #1 acoustic right now. So that sorted my need for a very low sounding, heavy sounding acoustic guitar. But that was not the only acoustic sound I was after. I also wanted the sound of the legend himself, David Bowie. When I saw on Amazon that there was a 12 string by Cort, I had to get it. This is a Cort AD81012 and I got it from Amazon in 2024. I think I paid around 12,000 for this, and with this, whenever I wanted a higher sound like some of the tracks on the album, this is what I used on it. Now, when 2025 rolled around, I decided to step it up a notch and buy the most expensive guitar that I have ever gotten. And of course, it's a Fender. It's a Squier Classic Vibe 60s Strat. I got it from Facebook Marketplace for 35,000, but the previous owner had heavily modded it to put in some amazing specs. It's got some 50s bootstrap pickups, Fender bridge and whammy, lots of high-end pots and Grover tuners and string trees, and I don't even remember what all modifications he had made to this, but it was all premium specs. And he was giving it for a pretty good price to me, so of course I had to get it. Right now this is my number 2 guitar, also in red. So that was all 10 guitars that I have ever owned. But you know what? Just guitars is not the full story. You should turn on notifications for that. But as for now, you can check out the chair spin guy. He made some video about do different guitar sounds. It's not that great, but go watch how pathetic 2025 was, you lucky bastards.